In this episode of Historical Markers in McCracken County, Kentucky, we are going to look at some of the veterans memorials around the area. There's a lot there, and they are some very well done memorials, so stay tuned with us while we do that. We are here in Paducah, Kentucky, in McCracken County, and this sign has two sides, so I'm going to read this side first. Clark's Army camped. On June 27, 1778, George Rogers Clark's army of about 200 faithful followers landed on nearby Owens Island just 4 days after starting from Corn Island at Falls of Ohio. A small hunting party appeared soon afterwards, giving valuable information about Kaskaskia. Clark recruited them and proceeded under severe hardship to defeat the British and save Illinois country for the U.S. And I'm going to the other side for the second part of the story. So George Rogers Clark was the original patentee of land on which Paducah is now located. 2 grants totaling 73,962 acres were conveyed to Clark by Virginia, a portion of this representing money owed him for services rendered. Land deeded to Brother William of Lewis and Clark fame in 1803 in consideration of $2,100 for sundry services. He later developed Paducah. All right, this is a two-sided sign, and we're going to read both sides here. That's Confederate flag of welcome. With the Confederate occupation of Hickman and Columbus in the late summer of 1861, Paducans were thrilled and flew a large Confederate flag to welcome the Southern Army thought on way. As General Grant's Union forces, backed by gunboats, moved to occupy Paducah on September 6, it was feared flag would be seized. And this is the rescue of the flag. This is Emily Jarrett, whose husband and sons were fighting for the CSA, rushed to save the banner. Under Union gunboat fire, she had a small slave boy climb the pole, retrieve the flag, and drop it to her. Union troops searched her home but failed to find the flag's hiding place. Some 30 years later, the faded cloth was laid to rest with its loyal rescuer. And this was her house here, and there's a marker down here on the ground that says, "Here lived Emily Jarrett, daring matron who rescued the Confederate flag at which Union gunboats were firing in 1861." So there we go. Okay, here at Dolly McNutt Plaza in Paducah, named for the Honorable Alice Dolly McNutt, member of Kentucky House of Representatives, 1976 to 86, Mayor of City of Paducah from 72 to 76, City Commissioner 1968 to 70, renowned for her outstanding ability as a public speaker, respected for her high standard of excellence and brilliant record, loved for her contribution of time, talent, and service to all Kentuckians. Here's the plaza here. Very beautiful fountain, seating areas. It's a nice green space right here in downtown Paducah. Okay, we're downtown Paducah at the Dolly McNutt Plaza, and the first marker we're looking for is this one. It is a marker against global war terror, and I'm going to go up closer. It does list 2 Marines on there, and it says the events of September 11th 2001 ignited a call to unify against those who would threaten our freedom and way of life. This memorial honors those who served, fought, and laid down their lives during the global war on terrorism. And it's got a very good memorial to the Twin Towers there. Okay, this marker is also at the Dolly McNutt Plaza here. It is proudly dedicated to the Kentuckians who faithfully served their country in Vietnam. Bless them all. Okay, here in Dolly McNutt Plaza is a marker. It's a World War II memorial dedicated to the military veterans who served our country in war and peace to protect and preserve our freedom, a nation conceived in liberty and justice, November 9th, 2007. Very beautiful monument. Okay, this marker is at the Dolly McNutt Plaza. This one is for Korea. My dad served in the Navy in Korea, and so it's very special to me that they put up this memorial from 1950 to 1953, not forgotten. That's beautiful. And you can see the destroyers out there in the water. That's what my dad did. He was on one of the destroyers out there. The USS English was the name of my dad's ship. Okay, this is on the other side of the Korean War Memorial, and it gives a timeline of the war and everything that happened. My dad's talked about some of these things. So I'm just going to scroll down through here, and please feel free to pause and read. This is outside the McCracken County Courthouse. Veterans Memorial, United We Stand, Divided We Fall. It's dedicated to all servicemen and women who faithfully serve their country with honor. It was dedicated in May 25th of 1992. All right, we're on the grounds of the McCracken County Courthouse, and we're here for this monument. It's "You triumphed over obstacles which would have overcome men less brave and determined" by President McKinley. This is erected in honor of the veterans of the Spanish-American War by the Department of Kentucky, United Spanish War Veterans and Auxiliaries. All right, this marker is for Forrest raid. General N.B. Forrest with Thompson's Kentucky and Bell's Tennessee brigades raided Paducah on March 25th, 1864. Union's Fort Anderson held with aid of gunboats. Guards at USA Warehouse captured. Part of town burned. Supplies of food taken by withdrawing CSA forces. Boast in Union newspaper prompted Forrest to send General A. Buford back to capture some overlooked horses. All right, we are right here on Kentucky Avenue, and we're here for this marker right here in the sidewalk. It says, during the Civil War, Colonel Stephen G. Hicks of the Union Forces had his headquarters here. It's a parking lot. That's okay. But look how cool that building is. Isn't that cool? It says Hotel Irvin Cobb up there. General Lloyd Tilghman, soldier and rail builder, lived here 1852 to 61. Born in Maryland 1816. Graduated West Point 1836. In the Mexican War 1846 to 48. Chief engineer 1855 to 56, New Orleans Jackson Railroad. First to enter Paducah. In Civil War, he joined the Confederate Army in 1861 and was killed in the Battle of Champions Hill near Vicksburg in May of 1863. All right, this is the Lloyd Tilghman House that also houses a museum. This marker says this was the home of Confederate General Lloyd Tilghman. Tilghman was born in Claiborne, Maryland in 1816. His family had a long and distinguished history in Maryland. He graduated from West Point with the class of 1836 and was a veteran of the Mexican War. Tilghman settled in Paducah in 1852, working as a civil engineer and supervising construction of the New Orleans and Ohio Railroad. At the beginning of the Civil War, he was Western commander of the Kentucky State Guard, formed to protect Kentucky's neutrality. However, when those attempts failed, he was commissioned a brigadier general in the Confederate Army. Tilghman organized the 3rd Kentucky Infantry, and the majority of the men in the Western Division of the Kentucky State Guard followed him in joining in the Confederacy. In December of 1861, Tilghman was named commander of Fort Henry on the Tennessee River. He quickly recognized the poor position of the fort and ordered the construction of Fort Hyman begin on high ground across the river. And there goes, it continues on with a lot of the history. You can pause and zoom in to read that. And I'll just go down the rest of this. Now, it does say here about the house. The Tilghman House was saved from demolition by community volunteers and restored to serve as a Civil War museum, focused on the role of the Western Rivers in Western Kentucky in the Civil War. In 1998, it was listed on the National Register of Historic Places. We are here at Whitehaven, which is a rest area off of Interstate 24, Paducah, Kentucky. And we have a marker here. It's a beautiful home. It's also got a museum in there. It's really nice. But here's the marker. It says the main Whitehaven, the main part of the house. It's a 2-story brick structure built in the 1860s by Edward Anderson. Edward Atkins bought it in 1903 and had noted Paducah architect A.L. Lassiter transformed the Victorian farmhouse into classical revival mansion. He added the Corinthian column front portico and named the house Whitehaven. I'm going to the other side. In 1904, Paducah Mayor James P. Smith bought and renamed the home Bidawee, a Scottish adage for come rest a while. Smith family members lived there until 1968. After the mansion was restored, it opened on June 23, 1983 as Whitehaven Tourist Welcome Center, listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1984. That has been our episode of Veterans Memorials in McCracken County, Kentucky. Stay tuned. There's more to come in this county. Lots going on.